Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today, and if you want to call in, 570-530-8316. Let's get it started. Listen, man, there wasn't a whole lot of boxing over the weekend, but there was Misfits 22, all right? So the main event here saw Darren Till. Both these guys are UFC guys, so both Darren Till and Luke Rockhold. And it was a boxing. It was a boxing event. So, you know, you're used to seeing those two in the UFC, but, you know, they were boxing here. It was an entertaining fight. Listen, it wasn't the most technical fight. It wasn't the most spectacular, but it was entertaining. It was one where if you didn't, I tell you what, I'll say this. If you didn't see the fight, I would go back and watch it. It was fun. It's a fun fight, and there's nothing wrong with that. Darren Till, Luke Rockhold. Darren Till, man, was just on another level in this fight. Rockhold kept getting tagged with Till's overhand left. Till, I thought, looked good. I mean, his boxing really was on point. I would like to see him box again. He looked good. He had a lot of good fundamentals. Beeb, I don't know if you caught any of this or not, but Darren Till is like the UFC guy, and both these guys are really known, especially Darren Till is really known for his hands. Luke Rockhold, more of a kickboxer type guy, you know, and he you know, he can go to the ground and stuff like that. But Darren Till is more of that stand-up kind of fighter, man. He looked good last night. He did. I would like to see him continue this, get out of the Misfits or whatever. I would like to see him fight some real boxers.
Well, this was a Misfits show.
Yeah.
So again, you know, there's a place for this, and I think there's an audience for this. And DAZN shows Misfits boxing. DAZN shows BKFC.
Yeah.
We talked about unified boxing organizations. That's what these two organizations are, right? So there are organizations that can coexist with the current boxing as we have it today. And it's crazy too, because this was not sanctioned by the British Board of Boxing Control. This was sanctioned by the Mohegan Sun, which is out of Connecticut.
Yeah.
So again, there's a home for these types of events, and there's always going to be someone who will be willing to put them on, sanction them. So I think Misfits, based off of what we've seen yesterday, I think they're starting to gain some momentum, and people understand that, you know, there's different types of boxing, right? So no one's saying that you can't have these types of shows, but they have their place.
Yeah.
Let you know, these types of shows are over here. The real boxing events like Canelo Crawford, they're over here. So you can't be over here and then try to tell the public that you're over there.
Right.
That's the difference. You know, when you look at it, like a Tank versus Jake Paul fight belongs over here in the Misfits category. That's a Misfits fight.
Yes, very much. Very much.
It's not in the same column as the Canelo Crawford. And when we say that, and people get mad, or Tank gets mad, or Jake Paul gets mad, or their fans get mad, then you guys are the ones with the problem. We're here to give our opinion on the fights, right? If you want to watch it, you can watch it, whatever. We don't sit there and tell people to boycott fights. We don't go up in arms and say that, you know, they shouldn't be able to do this. We just tell the truth. And if telling the truth hurts you, then you're the one with the problem, not us.
Not us. Now, let me ask you about that fight last night. You saw Darren Till fight.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he looked good for what it was. He looked good. He's obviously
that level of
a
fighting,
seasoned dude, right?
For that level of fighting,
yes,
he's good. He's found a home for his skill set.
Let me ask you, would you like to see him against some like fighters like his level of fight and see him? And again, he's a little bit older, so I don't know, but I thought he looked good. I thought he looked good enough to actually do this. Well, against real fighters.
If you put him in there with Tommy Fury, he should be able to hold his own. Could he fight a Jake Paul? Sure. So if you want to take a bottom 30 guy and put him in there with Darren Till, sure, he should be fine. He can't go anywhere near the top 10, obviously. But if you want to put him take a top 25 guy, maybe a top 30 guy, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, not a top 10 guy, no way.
Which is pretty much where Jake Paul is. If you put Jake Paul in there with Gilberto Ramirez, Badu Jack, he's getting hurt.
Ooh, yeah, that's
even
not
Badu
good.
Jack at his advanced age, he's getting hurt.
No, Badu Jack, by the way, Olympian. By the way, you know what I mean. The guy was an Olympic boxer. Yeah, he's got a pretty good pedigree. You know what I mean. So yeah, you're not gonna get by him, man.
There's a reason why
if he's active, you ain't beating him.
There's a reason why Badu Jack has not gone near anyone in the top 10, has not gone near anyone in the top 20.
Yeah.
And he's fighting who he's fighting. And that's no disrespect. Listen, I'm not knocking the hustle.
Listen, it's a matchmaking thing. You know, if I can get miles out of this dude, that's what I'm going to do.
Listen, if you're making the money you're making, if you're making $40 million for these types of fights, no one's going to complain. Yeah. Right? No one's here to say you can't do that. But don't get mad when people tell you what it is. Yeah. Don't try to gaslight us. We're just not going to buy it.
No. You know, there wasn't just boxing on here. There was like an MMA style of fight. I know Dylan Dennis.
Dylan Dennis. An MMA fight.
Man, that was a mean choke he put on him. Yeah. I mean, so he's a solid jiu-jitsu guy. Everybody makes fun of him, and rightfully so. But this guy is like a world-class jiu-jitsu guy. There's no denying that, man. He's one of the tops out there, you know.
He wants to fight anyway. Yeah, he wants to fight Masvidal. And who else did he call out? He called out Tony Ferguson. And so he wants to have some couple fights in the UFC. Like this was basically his audition for the UFC.
I think he might be a little. How old is he? How old is Dylan Dennis right now? Let's see.
I want to say he's 33-ish, 34-ish.
He's 32. I think he's too old. I think his best days are behind him. And remember the Logan Paul fight with him? That was horrible. That was just horrible. You know? Yeah. I think his fight days are over. I think he should stick to jiu-jitsu, you know, and those type of tournaments or whatever. I think he's, you know, maybe he's got a home there, but I don't know, man. They're young too. They're young and fast. So
again, I think if he's matched properly, he could be on some UFC undercards. Will he ever be a champion in UFC? Probably not.
I don't see that, man.
But there's some guys there that
he was already in the UFC anyway, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was
early on. I think
for a short period of time. But like I said, there's a place for him on probably the undercard of the US on a UFC show. You know, there's what do they have? 8 fights. So he could be.
You got to be out somewhere. You put him on.
They could place him. He's not going to be a main eventer.
Yeah, right? He could jerk the curtain on the undercards.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Maybe he can be like, one of the earlier fights on a pay-per-view portion of a card or something like that. But I don't think he's.
Or just a televised card, even. Who cares? I mean, just get him in there, get him rolling. See what he does.
He's not. I don't think he's championship level in the UFC.
No, but he's a name.
But he
can draw people in, and people would like to fight that dude based on his name.
100%. So, like I said, there's a home for him there too. Just not as a championship level guy.
For sure. You mentioned Tony Ferguson. That was one of the guys that Dennis called out. He actually fought on the undercard there on the co-main against a guy named Salt Papi.
Yeah.
Who is Salt Papi? Do you know who he is?
He's another influencer. Yeah.
He's an internet dude.
Yeah, he's an internet influencer guy.
And I tell you what, man. Now Ferguson won, 3rd round KO, just dominated the fight. But he was emotional after that fight. I mean, really emotional. So he must have gone through. I mean, he's been through a tough time with the UFC.
He's had some
lost a bunch of fights and everything like that.
He's had a lot of problems in his life, and
but it was good to see him get back in the winning column. It really was.
I'm sure he was happy to get this opportunity. Make some money. Because he's been through some tough times.
It is kind of fun. I will tell you that it is kind of fun watching some of these guys come to a boxing sport, no matter who they fight. But it is kind of fun to watch them come over and do some boxing and stuff like that. And it's just because we watch both of them, so it's kind of fun to see that change up, I don't think you'll see too many boxing guys going to, whatchamacallit, but to UFC, but hey.
Well, Paulie Malignaggi said he signed a deal with BKFC. We'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, I'm not big on that either, man. Paulie, I like Paulie and everything, man, but yeah, I think he's just past his
Austin,
prime. Like,
yeah,
why are we still doing this, man?
Ishe
Because he's
Smith,
got to make money. He's got that job on Pro Box. He's got, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah. Alfredo Angulo is in BKFC. Austin Trout, I think, is still in BKFC. He's still doing bare knuckle.
is he
So,
really?
yeah, I think Gabe Rosado did it. He did it for I think for a fight or two. So
Yeah.
there's fighters that have done it, and there's pro fighters that are in it right now. So you know,
There you go. And that was the action for this weekend. And let's go to the schedule here. Let's look at the upcoming fights. Not a whole lot. September 5th in Ireland. There's no TV on this one listed yet. But Michael Conlon returns versus Jack Bateson. Charlie Edwards on that undercard versus Salvador Juarez. Not a bad undercard. I mean, those are two. I'd watch those two fights.
sure.
Let's see what else. On Triller on September 5th, Chris Glover versus Juan Alcantara Sanchez, 8 rounds lightweights. I don't know too much about that. In Mexico, another one that doesn't have any, any TV. Oscar Valdez, September 6th. Oscar Valdez versus Ricky Medina, 10 rounds junior welterweights. On DAZN, from Mexico, Eduardo Nunez versus Christopher Diaz-Velez, 12 rounds for Nunez's IBF junior lightweight title. And let's see here. September 6th, we have on England from DAZN, Pat McCormick versus Miguel Parra. What are these fights, man?
Yeah, there's again,
Jesus.
the problem you have in boxing, particularly in America, is when you have these guys. Obviously, the holiday season coming up is a factor as well, but this is what you have to deal with when the best doesn't want to fight the best. When Teofimo Lopez is doesn't want to fight Devin Haney, doesn't want to fight Shakur Stevenson.
Nobody's fighting.
Yeah, so when you got guys who are trying to, no one wants to fight Bakram Mardazuliev, you just have these guys, even with Turki Al-Sheikh, a lot of these American fighters still don't want to fight each other.
Yeah.
So as a result, we have to defer to these types of fights. And again, we do have some good fights coming up, but right now we're in a dry spot.
Yeah, for sure we are. And that's the upcoming fights for next week. Now, the week after that is the big one, of course, the Terence Crawford Canelo fight. And let's go ahead and let's talk about that for a minute here. That fight, Beeb, is only 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Terence Crawford is purported to weigh 185 pounds. Now, I've read somewhere that the WBA may come down on him because they think he said he submitted he weighed 154, and the rumor is he weighs 185. I don't know if there's any proof that he weighs 185. Is there?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was watching a video today. He had his shirt off, and he looked pretty lean, even with the added weight on. If I was to guess how much Terence Crawford weighs right now, I would say he's probably tops 170.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
There's no way he's 185. Again, I think, I don't know how true that is. I don't know if the WBA actually confirmed it. I heard people saying it, and I heard some smaller websites reporting it, but I haven't heard Ring Magazine or ESPN or anyone of note, Kevin Iole, report that. I've heard
right.
Yeah, so I suspect, and again, I don't know for sure, I suspect that's just a rumor that's being floated out there. But I would guess Crawford is at tops 170 right now.
170, yeah. That's what I would think too. I've seen him too. And 185 seems like a lot. With 185, I think he'd have a belly or some more, like he wouldn't be as defined as he is.
Not that I was checking him out, but he had a six-pack. He looked lean. He still had his definition.
I mean, I wouldn't like peeping him out like that, but I don't want to make. Apparently, you gave him a good look over. I mean, I was just kind of glancing, You was over there, just really like, did you pause it and was looking at him? I
I
mean,
don't want to offend.
how
Big
many
Tex,
times
man.
did you watch the video?
I mean, let's please. It's a family show here. Let's not go down that road. But no, he looked good, man. I mean, sometimes when a guy moves up in weight, you think he's gonna smooth out, he's gonna look bloated. He looked lean to me, man. He looked like he was in great shape.
Yeah.
So
We had a really good question here by Joseph. He says, "Do you guys give Fernando Vargas Jr. a chance versus Callum Walsh?"
sure,
And that's on that undercard.
why not?
He beats Callum Walsh, and not only does he beat Callum Walsh, he beats Callum Walsh convincingly. That's my prediction. Yes, he's beating Callum Walsh. Beeb, what say you?
I would pick him, but it's a tough fight. It's not an easy. It's not gonna be an easy fight.
Not an easy fight, but I'm telling you right now, I think that he wins. I think he wins
he's
that
gonna
fight.
win. I think he's gonna win.
I think he's a very good fighter, man. He's one of those guys that you really have to watch. He's that guy. I really believe that.
That undercard is not bad. It's
It's not bad. It's not pay-per-view, but it's not bad.
not a bad undercard.
No. But you got to, you got the main event too, which is the biggest fight of the year, right?
I'm really, 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 really getting excited for that fight. I'm starting to I heard some people say, "Oh, this just doesn't like." You hear this a lot now. That this doesn't have that big fight feel to it, and I don't know. To me, it does.
Well, and I'm gonna tell you this is
I'm
that
excited.
Crawford is the one that sold the fight. I'll be honest. I think Crawford's the one that sold the fight because when you saw him in the beginning, it was all, "Oh, thank you, all this. We respect each other." This Crawford was the one that started going in on him at the presser. He was the one that started really going in on him, and that has created that animosity,
Sure.
and which is what you like to see leading into a big fight. You know.
Yeah.
You'll never see that with a Pacquiao fight because no matter what, he's always calm. Pacquiao's just a nice guy. But here, you're going to see that. And I can't wait for next week when all the press stuff goes on and everything like that, and you got the weigh-in and you got weigh-in fight week and everything. All the fight week activities are going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it should be pretty good.
As I said before, I love the fact of the cross promotion because having TKO involved in this event, you get the best of all three worlds. Meaning, you got cross promotion from the WWE, cross promotion from the UFC. This fight is actually posted on the UFC website.
Yeah.
So, then you got
for sure.
Yeah, you got Turkey Al Sheikh.
Well, you got Ring Magazine now.
Ring Magazine.
Who's just a complete, who's going to be, TKO and over again, their fighters and everything like that.
You got everyone behind this.
This is going to be, like I said, man, this conglomerate, I guess you can call it, is going to be huge.
Netflix has already been doing advertising for it too.
Yeah. So for sure.
This is going to be a monster event.
Yeah. But it's taking place at 5 p.m. Because I guess UFC, they don't want to interfere with the UFC Noche fight.
Also, they wanted Canelo's fans in Mexico to be able to see the main event in prime time too. So they wanted to kind of accommodate the Mexican fans too. So,
well, the UFC, the UFC event, what is it, Noche, UFC Noche or whatever it is?
Yeah.
It's their Mexican Independence Day event.
Sure.
That's on the same night. And that's at like 10 o'clock or something like that. It goes off when the UFC goes off at 10 or whatever. But I think that's why they're doing the 5 o'clock.
I'm sure that's part of it too. So that way you get to watch both events.
So it'll be like almost like a London fight for us. Where like the main event starts at 5 or something like that, and you're watching. I think that it's supposed to come off. I think the actual fight's supposed to come off around 8 p.m.
And the card itself is starting at 5 to tell the broadcast version.
I think so. Yeah, I believe so. And then the undercard's, of course, going more than that. But
yeah, so worst case scenario, that main event's coming off at what, 8 o'clock, 8:30?
8 o'clock, yeah, okay. Which is awesome. Because nobody likes to stay up till midnight to watch the fights. That last UFC card, I was up midnight watching the main event. I didn't go to bed till it wasn't really over until 1 o'clock.
Yeah, this is better for me, man. I really enjoy having not being half asleep watching these things, falling asleep, drooling on my couch, trying to stay up watching these main events at 12:30.
Yeah, and the other thing, and what about the people in California, like Robert or whatever? He'll get to watch the fights at 2. The main event's going to be on at 5.
Yeah.
So his whole evening is freed up. You know what I mean?
Mrs. Eric's going to have to stop the dinner a little early that day, man.
Oh, stop it! What's the matter with you? Let's bring on Robert here. Robert, you're live.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Good. What's
Bobby,
up?
how's it going, man?
Well, I'm looking forward to the Canelo Crawford fight. I'm glad it's finally going to be here soon. And yeah, we're going through a dry spell right now, but it's going to be all worth it in the end. I think that's going to be one hell of a fight.
Did you watch any of the Misfits last night?
No.
Oh, come on, Rob.
No.
That was an emphatic no.
Come on, Rob.
I thought it was pretty entertaining. I thought the two main fights were pretty entertaining. I thought. Again, you're not going to get high level boxing, but I thought it was good.
Right. Right.
Excuse me.
Has anybody heard anything on the Top Rank TV deal? Because that's why a lot of these fights are not on TV. They don't have a deal.
No, Beeb,
have you heard it?
Beeb, you said something about this before.
Yeah, we heard that. I heard, and people have been putting it out there that Stars may be one of the broadcasters. But again, I'm still not ruling out Peacock as another one of the potential broadcasters. But I
think Peacock would be very good.
It's been rumored that Stars could be one of them too. But I've been hearing that, but it hasn't been confirmed yet.
Yeah, I'm real curious to see what they're going to do. I really am. And then, Turkey's promotion is going to be the big one. You know what I mean? That TKO is going to be the big one. And if I'm wondering how they're going to do cross TV platform. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Eric,
they were saying that. Hold on, Robert.
Go ahead,
Robert. You're a little excited. How much caffeine today? You are a little excited today.
Shot out of a cannon today.
You're going off the rails a little bit. Take it easy, man. So they're saying TKO is going to be on Paramount Plus, but I don't know if that's going to be the only platform. But yeah, they're saying that, and I guess
Paramount Plus owns CBS, though, don't they? If
they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
They do.
It's called Paramount Global is the actual company that's traded on the stock market. It's called Paramount Global. They own Paramount Plus and they own CBS as well and Showtime. So yeah, so Paramount Plus, and I heard Turkey Al-Sheikh is going to be putting up $10 million for to fund the events. So they have $10 million so far for purses and stuff, and I'm sure they're going to get some money from Paramount Plus as well. So this organization is going to be pretty decently funded, I would think, right? So we should have some decent fights.
Well, I wonder, I guess from a business standpoint, is he making money off of these fights? Because and I understand he's inside. He's got a limitless. I mean, he's got quite a bit of money.
Oh, it's Turkey Al-Sheikh making money off these fights.
Yeah.
Again, this is the thing. I don't think a lot of these fights are turning a profit. Now, the promoter's making money. The fighter's making money.
If the promoters are making money, Al-Sheikh's got to be making money.
Well, again,
that stands to reason because he's putting these fights together with his money.
The thing with Turkey Al-Sheikh, though, as well, is he bought into. He has 20% ownership of the Zone now. So I
didn't know that.
Yeah, so he owns 20%
of DAZN boxing or DAZN?
Just DAZN. Yeah, he bought into DAZN. Yeah, he bought into DAZN. So I think he's kind of diversified himself.
That's a big move, but that's a big move, man. Because I tell you what, 20% in DAZN. DAZN's huge overseas.
Sure.
In Europe, across the pond, it's huge.
Yeah, DAZN has 20 million subscribers globally. Not many of those subscribers are from the U.S. I think it's in between 2 and 4 million in the U.S. There's not a lot of U.S. subscribers, and anecdotally, we know a lot of people that just unsubscribed because they were getting tired of the pay per views and the rising prices.
Right.
So
Right.
who knows where they're at right now in the United States, but globally they've been growing steadily because they're showing all these other sports. They show like NFL and stuff, and like I think in China and other countries. So globally, they're doing pretty good. But I would suspect that Turkey Al Sheikh definitely. I think. Okay, let's get that down. I think Turkey Al Sheikh definitely lost some money on some of these events. I don't think he made money on all these events, but
Right.
we'll see how this situation with TKO pans out.
Joseph, another good comment, says, "No way these Saudi cards are profitable. They pay these boxers way above market value."
Well, I mean, all these white knights out there crying for the fighter, and talking shit about how the UFC does business. Like I said, the UFC tries to turn a profit on their events, right? They try to turn a profit, even though they're getting rights fees from or they were getting a rights fee, or they still are from ESPN. They still want to turn a profit on their shows.
Sure. That's why they're in it. That's why they're in the game.
No?
Let's get back to this Canelo Crawford thing here. You had a show yesterday about the size difference.
This morning, actually. It was actually this morning.
I apologize. Yeah, so if you guys haven't checked it out, by the way, like and subscribe to our channel, man. You get Beeb's always doing content outside of the show and everything like that. He's always got something going on. There's always videos out there and stuff like that, man. So like and subscribe, man. Really helps us out with the algorithm, stuff like that. So just do that for us, man. We're not asking to work in a coal mine. Just hit the like button. Just subscribe. Come on. So you had that show this morning about the size differences.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because obviously Canelo Alvarez turned pro when he was 15 years old,
which is insane to me.
Which is insane, and he turned pro he was 139 pounds. Terence Crawford was like 137. But then if you go back and you look at both guys in 2010, Canelo Alvarez was still fighting at 147, and Crawford was fighting like at 140. So these guys, obviously Canelo's bigger. I'm not saying he's not, but the notion that Canelo is like so much bigger than Crawford, I just think that's a misnomer. I think they're going to be about maybe 7 or 8 pounds, probably 7, maybe 6 or 7 pounds difference the night of the fight. I just don't think it's such a huge size difference, because even when Canelo was fighting at middleweight, he won the title at 155 pound catchweight. Hey, what's up, Danny? He won the title at 155 pounds against Miguel Cotto. He was still fighting in catchweight fights even when he moved up to middleweight, right? And when he won his first junior middleweight title, his first title ever, at 150. So he's never been a big guy. And even today, I still think the guy could possibly still make 160. So to me, this is more or less a junior middleweight fighting a middleweight. It's not a welterweight fighting a super middleweight like it's being framed, like the narrative is being put out there. So I'm not going to lie and say Canelo's not bigger. He's not, thicker, pause. But, he Crawford's a half inch taller. He's got almost a 4-inch reach advantage in this fight. And Crawford's about the same size as Erislandy Lara, in my opinion. He's roughly the same size as Erislandy Lara, who's 5'9". He's got a 75-inch reach. Crawford's like 5'8", 5'8.5". He's got a 74.5-inch reach. I think this fight's going to have a lot of similarities. I'm not saying it's going to be identical. A lot of the things that Erislandy Lara was able to do in that fight against Canelo Alvarez, another southpaw, I think Terence Crawford can definitely do those things.
Yeah.
I think he could definitely do those things. I think he could keep him at the end of the jab. And I talked to you earlier in the show, that really sneaky surprise punch for Erislandy Lara in that fight with Canelo was that right hook. And Crawford's got that sneaky right hook too. We've seen him really hurt Kell Brook with it, and that was the beginning of the end for Kell Brook with that right hook he landed against Kell Brook, got Kell Brook in trouble, and he was hurting Errol Spence with it too when he fought Errol Spence. So that's going to be the surprise punch. I think the big difference here is Crawford's got an excellent jab, and I think Canelo has problems with guys who can keep him at the end of a quick, really accurate, a quick jab. People have really good jabs. Like if you go back to the Golovkin fights, Golovkin was really successful with the jab.
That first fight, Golovkin was mauling him with that jab.
Yeah, and same thing with Floyd. Floyd had a ton of success with the jab. Bivol, obviously, different kettle of fish because he's much bigger. But
yeah,
he has a high susceptibility to jabs, Canelo Alvarez. He does when he moves his head when he's close to you.
Yeah.
When he's on the outside and he's trying to get to that inside area deep in the pocket, he's not moving his head when there's space between the two fighters.
Right.
He's more elusive when he's up close, but he has a hard time getting away from a guy who has a quick, tricky jab. You know, and Lara was just kept touching him. He was really pestering with him, him with it. And I thought it was really knocking him off rhythm, and it was frustrating him. He was frustrated against Lara. You could see it in his face. And you know, Lara got hit with that uppercut, and he got that cut on his eye. And then the fight started turning a little bit. I think at like round 9, you could see it turning. But I thought Lara beat him. A lot of people I know thought.
A lot of people did. A lot of people did.
That fight. And so I can see him replicating a lot of the good things that Lara was able to do.
Yeah.
I think that fight's going to have a lot of similarities to Canelo-Lara, this Crawford-Canelo fight.
I think you're probably right. I think the footwork is going to be – I think that we were talking about this earlier. I think the footwork for Crawford is going to be his path to victory. I really do. I think it's going to be his footwork. Canelo, it's almost like a couple of fights you saw really good footwork from him, and that was it. I thought the Austin Trout fight, he looked good. I thought Canelo won that fight, but he did have a lot of trouble with Trout in that fight. I thought he had some trouble with Trout. But like you said, the Lara fight for sure. You can look at the Bivol fight. They all kind of go by the same. He has trouble with movers. He has trouble with pure boxers. Terence Crawford can make you look bad. And that's, Well, I'll tell you why why do we keep talking about Lara 20 years later? I get that. But again, man, you have to understand that he's not changing his stripes.
Thank you.
Canelo's not going to change his stripes. He is who he is. He's too old, too late in the game, and he's on the dark side of his career.
His feet aren't going to get quicker 20 years later.
And you're not going to develop some major footwork in the next fight. He's been planting himself more and more. Do you know why he's been planting himself more and more? Because his legs aren't the same.
He had 2 knee surgeries on his right knee. Okay? He's had wrist surgery. So I'll answer your question. Why are we talking about it 20 years later? Because 20 years later, he hasn't really shown us that he's been able to solve that type of puzzle when faced with that type of opponent. Right. That's number one. 20 years later, we're talking about it. Point number 2 is, as Eric just said, and I'm going to repeat it, he hasn't gotten better since then. Your body gets worse over time, not better. Yeah. So if he didn't have the quickest feet at 154 and 160, all of a sudden he's not going to turn into Pernell Whitaker or Sugar Ray Leonard 20 years later. That's the point we're trying to make.
Right. And Warrior Way says Lara was soon after Floyd. He's improved since then. He has. And he's gone. But the problem is he
still hasn't shown the ability to beat these quick-footed guys who can box very well on the outside. He hasn't solved that puzzle.
No, he hasn't solved that riddle. And listen, he fought Floyd, and we can argue about this, but he's fought Floyd before Canelo's prime, before he was a prime Canelo, because he got much better after that fight. He did. However, again, he's on the down slope. He's on the dark side of his career. He doesn't have too much left, I don't believe. So, again, and I think we talked, you said this too, Crawford is closer to his prime than Canelo is to his.
Yeah, Crawford's closer to his prime than Canelo is to his.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we are on that. Jerry, 410, let me get you to talk some sense into Beeb. or me, either one. But I'm the
I
king
don't
of
even know
Baltimore.
where to get. I don't even know where to get started. Boy, I tell you, I get 6 to 8 minutes. 6 to 8 minutes to like straighten you guys out, and it's really not enough. Why is your show only one time a week for 1 hour? Let's start there.
So we
I
like
do
it that way.
shows. I do shows
But
during the week.
Beeb does shows through the week. Yeah, Beeb does shows through the week. I'm the hour guy. Beeb Industries got me on a strict contract here.
Yeah.
Bud Crawford, he's had 5 fights in 5 years. There's a difference. Canelo
Good
has
point.
almost 30 more fights than he does, but he's been a very inactive fighter. Now, that may work for some. It seemed to work for Earl Spence for a while. This guy's coming in. He hasn't fought in a good while. He's 38 years old. He's moving up 2 fucking weight classes. That means extra weight. Now, how much is arguable? I don't think there's a size difference between him and Canelo. They're the same height. Canelo's been fighting at a weight where he doesn't have to cut weight, and Bud Crawford, by his own admission, has been cutting 25 to 30 pounds.
Thank you,
Which
Jerry.
is very typical. Yeah, very typical of most fighters. I don't blame him for that, but that's what he's been doing. He's not. This fight is not going to come down the side.
Thank you.
Anyone who thinks it is a fanboy bought into the fact that on paper he's moving up 2 weights, but in reality he's not. He really is not. He doesn't have any height advantage over Canelo. They pretty much look each other. And he's got 3.5 inch reach advantage from what I've seen, which is maybe just enough to make a difference.
It's actually
But I
3.5.
think the real
It's actually 3.5 inches because his reach is 74. Canelo's is 70.
Yeah, so 3.5 inches, but that's maybe just enough to make a difference.
All right.
That can be negated easily by footwork and closing the distance from Canelo. That's not a big factor. People are for some reason they want to bank on that. It's not a big deal. It's not enough. 670 inches and you can fight from the outside, then yeah, that's a bigger deal, like a Fendora or a Larry Holmes, to get a heavyweight example. But 3.5 inches, that can easily be negated. It's all going to come down to this. Can Bud Crawford take Canelo's punches? Because he's going to get hit. He gets hit in every fight I've ever seen him in. Avenesian was cracking him. Benavidez was hitting him. Green Bean. Everybody except for Spence. Spence was washed up, but he's going to get hit by Canelo. And if he can take his punches, then you almost have to favor Bud Crawford. I think it's a very even fight. I'm looking forward to it as much as the next guy. And I'm fucking sick of hearing people spout off about it, claiming that one guy's going to destroy the other. I don't see that. Maybe it's boxing, but the reality is, A, it won't live up to the hype. There's been a year and a half of hype, so it's very difficult for it to live up to the hype. B, neither guy is very unlikely going to dominate the other. I just don't see that. It's probably going to be a close competitive fight throughout. I'm picking Canelo by stoppage in the second half of the fight, with Bud Crawford being ahead on points at the time of the stoppage. I don't think it's going to be a single shot KO. I think he's going to knock him down. He's going to be hurt, and when he gets up, he's going to get finished. Okay? That's where I'm at. Lastly, these UFC fighters can beat boxers. You should have known by, Fury and Ngannou. Eric there was like, Fury's just going to decimate this guy. He doesn't have anybody. And look what happened. It's arguable if he even won. Deontay Wilder's washed up. That's why he's going to fight Ngannou, because who else is he going to fight and get any money? Nobody. And not get his ass totally whipped. He fights Ngannou. I got Ngannou stoppage in 2 or 3 rounds.
Oh, we're on. We're totally on if that fight happens. I mean, Deontay Wilder is going to dust off Ngannou, son. If that fight goes down, we got a pie bet on that one, son.
He'll never do
No
it.
question. I got that
He
easy.
won't do the pie bet. He won't do the pie bet.
He won't do the pie bet. He'll do the pie bet.
I'll do any kind of bet, man.
There it is.
Hey, look,
Jerry's down.
Wilder he might win. I don't see it, man. The guy is entirely washed up. He's washed up on an athletic, competitive level. And I don't know that Ngannou, he's certainly not in his prime either because he's kind of old.
Yeah.
Gannou's like 40 years old, too. Both these guys are old,
Yeah.
man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's kind of old, too. But the last I
He's
seen
38.
him, I didn't see signs of a washed-up fighter, even though he's not a boxer. When you get punched in the mouth and knocked out, you don't ask yourself, was that from a boxer or was that from an MMA fighter? This guy's no stranger to knocking men out with his fist. And Wilder is fucking just as done as a fighter can be. Him and Errol Spence. I don't want to see Errol Spence against
Errol Spence is
Charlo
done,
or
man.
nobody.
Yeah, Errol Spence.
Errol
did
Spence
not
is
do it.
done.
Done, man. They're fucking done.
Yeah,
Why do you think Wilder's talking about fighting Ngannou? Why isn't he talking about fighting AJ or Usyk? Because he knows, and his handlers know. Let's get whatever fucking payday we can get, and maybe have a chance then to get in there with the guy that just beat the fuck out of him, man. He's long from his prime, and at his prime, he was a right-handed puncher. That's it. Couldn't box for shit. If you could outbox him, you could beat him. But I'll give him credit. He has a lot of power. Big right hand, and he punches pretty good with his left hand. But he's washed up. Way fucking crazy washed up. I think Ngannou maybe destroys him. Maybe even in the first round.
Oh, you're so on. Yeah. I hope they fight, man. I really hope they fight. Because that's another fun fight. You know, I mean, it really is. It's a fun fight. But you saw the way Joshua handled Ngannou? That's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and Tyson Fury, everybody says
you
Tyson
look at that,
Fury.
but-
Listen, but look, Tyson Fury, what happened to his next two fights? Lost them both.
Yeah, but they were very competitive fights against the top guy. Nobody's fought Usyk as tight as Fury. Nobody. And he lost both times, but nobody's come close to competing with that guy like Fury did. They were competitive fights.
Yeah.
It's an athletic thing. It's not what this guy was when he was what he was. It's Wilder's washed up. I can see it, just like with Errol Spence.
Sure.
They're not going to be competitive. They don't have the durability any longer. Might he land that big fucking right hand? Yeah, I mean, you can't rule that out, but I just don't see it for him. And for me, it's not that fun. I don't like Deontay Wilder. I think he's a thug piece of shit.
Whoa!
I don't really want to see him.
It's a friend of the show.
Yeah,
Whoa!
I really don't want to see him get hurt, though. You know,
Okay.
I really don't.
All right. Well, he saved himself.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't sound like you don't want to see
I
that.
mean,
If you were there, if he was on the ground, you may take a few shots yourself. I don't know. The way you're talking.
I really don't want to see the guy get hurt, man. He's got fucking baby kids like crazy, and I'm sure they adore him, and he's made a lot of money. And you know what, man? Sometimes, and I'm not alone. Andre Ward's longtime trainer, he said the same thing. Roy Jones. They can see that this guy, he's done, man. Man, if you made some money, get out. Get out now. You know, and you might make some money fighting Ngannou, but you might get fucking put in a casket too.
Whoa!
I don't like it. I don't like Spence either. Spence has been, ever since he took that ass whipping from Bud Crawford, you haven't seen hide nor hair of him.
No.
And that's not because he's a contender or a campaigning junior middleweight. No, it's because he's fucking damaged goods.
I don't even know if that guy can pass a physical. I don't know if that guy could pass a physical to get a fight license, boxing license.
Has anybody heard him talk? Is his speech like compromised or anything like that? I don't know. I had heard stories, but I haven't really
Sure
seen.
it is. Sure it's compromised.
Wow.
If you go listen to Earl Spence in interviews when he first was like campaigning at welterweight, his voice is articulate. It's got a inflection. It's up and down. You listen to him now, it's just like Ali. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. His fucking eyes are drooping. When Ali deteriorated, it didn't happen overnight. You just could kind of see, if you were paying attention, you could kind of see a guy that once was so quick-witted and his tongue and his inflection, it went to this monotone. This is the symptoms of punch drunk dementia, what they used to call it, right?
Yeah.
Punch drunk dementia. Taking too many fucking shots to the head. Wilder took a lot of punishment in those Fury fights, and it was at the end of his career. And he's lucky as fuck that Mark Breland saved his fucking life in that second fight because Fury couldn't find the KO shot, but he was just clobbering him. That's how fighters get heavily damaged. Yeah, he was just clobbering him over and over. And man, Wilder showed all the heart you could ask a fighter to show, but the damage, man, the fucking damage. I don't know. I'd rather not see him fight. I don't want to see Spence fight. They've had their time. They've made their money. Move on to the next guy.
There you go.
Get Eric up on there and beat his ass a little bit.
All right, Jerry, we're going to get rolling, man. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Who do we got next? We got Rafa next, I believe. 917. Let's see here. Let's bring him up. Rafa.
Yo.
You're live.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
What's happening, man?
What's up with I gotta tell you guys this. This has to be the most underwhelming super mega fight in history. I mean, this definitely. I know this is a fight. This is a fight for casuals. I think a lot of people have already forgotten that this fight is only being made because the Benavidez Canelo fight wasn't made, and we have to kind of settle for this because it's Turkey's wish. But I gotta, tell you guys this. The reason that we are getting, this influencer boxing and this Tank versus Jake Paul or Jake Paul versus, these real boxers is because this business runs from a top-down method. I mean, at first, Oscar was the main guy. Everybody was chasing Oscar. Then it became, Floyd. Everybody wanted to become Floyd and beat Floyd, follow Floyd, and eventually it was following his blueprint, and that was his blueprint. Now it's Canelo. Canelo is the main guy. And eventually when you get to pick and choose and play more the business side of the sport as opposed to the sport itself in order to entertain the fans, this is what you're going to get. So, I mean, unfortunately, the sport is dying. Every 10 years or so, we would get a big fight, which unfortunately, a lot of people would get disappointed or, it would live up to the hype. People would say, is this the fight that's going to save boxing? I don't think this fight is going to be it. This is going to be a dud. Just like Jerry was saying behind, he was saying like this is not going to live up to the expectations because it's going to be a tactical fight. What normally tends to sell is fear. That's why the Golovkin Canelo fight was there was a high buildup because everybody was expecting the knockout. And whether you guys may not want to agree with me or not, this is the reason that the Ryan versus Tank fight sold so much because there's so much, high tense and expectation of seeing a knockout from two kids that could actually punch. With this fight, you're just hoping that this is the key word with this matchup is hope. Hope that Crawford will be able to edge out Canelo, and Canelo will probably be too old that, Crawford might be able to overcome greatness and, become 3 times undisputed. But to be fair, to be in such a big platform, that this fight is going to be very underwhelming. I don't know what you guys think.
All right, look, we're going to return you to the queue. I'll go ahead and answer that question. Thanks so much for the call, Rafa. So here's my take on it. Yeah, if you're tuning in and you think you're going to see Hagler Hearns, you're not. It's going to be, Rafael hit it right on the nose, man. It's going to be a tactical fight. It has to be a tactical fight. There's no other way to go. Even if Canelo throws caution to the wind, it's still going to be a tactical fight. because both guys can hit, both guys can move, and this is my opinion, in order for Crawford to beat him, he's going to have to use his footwork. He's going to have to stay in range, stay out of Canelo's range, but, use his jab as a range fighter. All that adds up to technical fight. It just does. So if you're tuning in saying we're going to see a knockout, I don't think you're going to see it. B, would you agree with that?
I hate to admit that Rafa could be right here because it is going to be a tactical fight. But the thing is the thing about Crawford though too is he will probably try to hold his ground in spots, but he's not going to just stand there and trade. We know that, and he's going to try to create space because he knows that's his best bet to win. He's not going to go into Canelo's wheelhouse. He's going to try to stay out of Canelo's wheelhouse. He's not going to want to hang around deep in that pocket for too long. Given those two elements there, this could be a recipe for a very tactical fight, and that may not be aesthetically pleasing for the fans. I'm not going to rule that out. I mean, I'm hoping that Rafa's wrong.
Yeah,
but he makes some great points.
Yeah.
Now,
and it's not like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hagler-Leonard, I found that fight entertaining, but a lot of people didn't because it was a very tactical fight from Leonard. He picked and chose his spots. He tried, he would go in there and throw a quick flurry, but he was predominantly tried to keep that fight at range. He didn't want to get in the mid range with Hagler. Right?
It's a highway robbery too. That's why people didn't like the fight.
Cut it off. But
clearly a robbery, son.
So a lot of people walked away from that fight feeling that it was underwhelming as well. I enjoyed it, but
you're a Leonard fan. You know what I mean? You're a Sugar Ray fan. Of course you enjoyed it.
I love Ray Leonard.
Ray Leonard was one of those guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you just rode with. You know what I mean? For you, that was your guy, and you were rooting for him in every fight. It didn't matter.
Well, in fairness, I did think Hearns beat him in the rematch.
The second Hearns fight. Yeah, the second Hearns. That's what I was about to say, because I've heard you talk about that too. He definitely did.
And Leonard admitted he lost that fight. He didn't think Leonard didn't think he won the second Hearns fight. He came out and said it afterwards.
Why those judges gave Leonard 2 10-8 rounds, I'll never know.
Now, one 10-8 round, like Leonard did really hurt him in one round. You could make an argument but
you
two
could make an argument.
How
often? But let me ask you, how often do you see a 10-8 round when it's just a one-sided round?
Oh,
rare.
It's incredibly rare. But if it were to happen, it would happen more back then than it does now.
Yeah, I would.
You know what I mean?
Along with that. I would go.
Yeah, you'll never see that now.
Yeah. Let's move on. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Back then you would even see even rounds more frequently until the sanctioning bodies and the commissions and the ABC and the rules committees they would tell judges they would frown upon scoring even rounds. So as time went on in American boxing, you don't see even rounds anymore. But back then you would see an occasional even round.
There you go. Let's bring Hamed on for a little bit, for a minute or so, just real quick. Maybe not. Hamed, you're live.
Hello, guys. Look, I've been favoring Crawford since early this year, but I'm surprised that there are a lot of people picking Crawford by stoppage. Is it possible? Yeah, I think it's possible, because when Mayweather and people, I know this is a completely different fight, when they were landing shots on Canelo, for a guy with such a good chin that's perceived to, I don't think he likes to get hit. I know no one likes to get hit, but to me, his body language and his demeanor when he gets hit is he shells up. Now, I don't know if that's to do with how he is as a fighter or he just doesn't like to get hit, because I can't remember who was saying, I think it was Paulie Malignaggi or someone said that when you take him to that place.
Yeah, Malignaggi.
When you take him to that place, like Triple G did it in the first fight. So if Crawford could do what Usyk was doing against AJ, where he's winning round after round, and in the end presses for the KO, or try stopping him, not dropping him, just, try taking him out. It's possible. I don't think it's probable. I would definitely not put money on it. If anyone's going to win by KO on paper, you'd have to favor Canelo. But I don't know what people expect. Like, this to me is not going to be a toe-to-toe fight. Unless Crawford thinks he could go in there and do something which he's never done. And I think that's really risky, dangerous as well. You never fought a middleweight or super middleweight. You had one fight light middleweight. To go up and try and, take the fight to him from the beginning, I think is risky. What he has to do is box early on like he did with Postol. And then try and take it deep, and you could start shifting and try and backing up Canelo, because I think Canelo's legs are not the same. He doesn't throw combination. And if Canelo is as bad as he looked against Skull and who's the guy, Munguia early on, before the knockdown, if it's like that, I think it's Crawford's fight to lose. But on paper, I don't disagree with people if they want to say Canelo's got all the advantages in terms of he's been more active, he's younger in terms of actual age. Then you'd have to go with Canelo. Like, if you're a gambling man, the safe bet is Canelo on paper. But to me, even if it's as good as the Haney-Lomachenko fight or even the first Fury-Wilder fight, some people may find some of those fights boring, especially the Fury-Wilder fight without the knockdowns. But I thought those are good technical, high-level fights. There's tension, and I thought at any point in the Fury-Wilder fight that could have ended in a knockout. I think Canelo is obviously a much better overall boxer and skilled fighter than Wilder was ever. But at that time, it was intriguing. And Haney Loma, for a so-called technical fight, I thought that was a very good fight. It's so sad that that decision has overshadowed the actual fight, because I thought that could have easily been a draw or went the other way. But the actual fight was very good. That was one of the best fights I thought of that year, in terms of the top fights. So, are you guys both picking Crawford, or are you split on this?
It's tough to pick fights. I mean, right now I'm thinking I'm leaning toward Crawford, but typically Beeb and I think I can speak for both of us, honestly. We like to see the weigh-ins, and we like to see the shape they're at the weigh-ins. Yeah. We all have I think Beeb and I both have an opinion of the fight, but again, and who's going to win and who's not going to win. But the weigh-ins sometimes tell you a little bit more, and sometimes you're able to back off that or not. Just depends on what you see at the weigh-ins. That's kind of the last piece of the puzzle before the big fight. So if nothing, out of the ordinary happens at the weigh-ins, then it is what it is, but.
Would you guys agree though, that Canelo da fought Charlo?
Okay, hang on. Go ahead, Beeb.
I was reassured today. I'm picking Crawford, and I think I'm going to most likely stick with Crawford, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
And I don't usually put much stock into this footage, but for this time I kind of am, and I'll tell you why. So I saw Crawford today. He was doing like a YouTube. There was a show. It was showing him in his camp, and he was just showing. He was doing sprints and everything, and he was doing his training, and he looked shredded. He looked big. He looked shredded. He looked full. His muscles looked full. He looked healthy, right? And every time, I know this doesn't always matter, but every time I see Canelo training, he's constantly just working on the target bag. He's constantly doing power drills, right?
Yeah,
constantly doing power drills. Everything, and you say, well, that's just training. Who knows what he's going to do? But it's kind of showing that the training is kind of showing up in the fight, where he's just throwing power shots. Like, his jab is virtually non-existent now in these fights. Really is. So I just think Crawford really looks good. And as I said, is Canelo bigger? Yeah, but I just don't think the size is that much of a difference in this fight. I really don't. It's like, I just think it's going to be the strategy. I went back and watched that Lara fight, and I'm saying to myself, I could see Crawford doing a lot of the same things, keeping this fight at a distance, keep popping him and pecking him and pestering him with the jab and that sneaky right hook that Lara was throwing that was landing. And even Crawford throws that punch very similar, as Lara does too. They both have that sneaky right hook from the southpaw stance. That's going to be the game changer in this fight. The jab and that right hook is going to be the game changer in this fight. He's going to be landing a lot of right hooks in this fight, I believe, and I think his jab is going to be working on overtime.
You know what I think too? I think this body work. I think he's going to go to that body and he's going to try to slow Canelo's feet down.
And he's a very effective. Yeah, he's a very
good.
He's not going to live in the pocket, but when he's in the pocket, he's going to try and steal some shit in there. He's going to try to get his shit off. That's the difference between him and Boots. Boots and him have some similarities from the outside, but Boots can't fight in the mid range and on the inside like Crawford can. Boots is not a dog on the inside like Crawford is. Like Crawford, when he has to be, can be a dog on the inside. Like I think one of the knockdowns in the Spence fight was from a body shot, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. Or if not, it definitely set it up.
Yeah, he can definitely fight on the inside when he has to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Hamed. Thank you so much for the call. Hamed, by the way, guys, is calling from England. So it's like, man, thank you so much for the support. That means so much to us. Don't forget, guys, like and subscribe to the channel. Let's give you the last pieces of news here. Jermell Charlo, posted on social media that he's coming back to boxing. He seemed to challenge Errol Spence in the photo that he posted on Instagram as a lion biting a shark. You know, those two trained together. They came up together. I don't know what he's doing. And Spence, like we said, Spence hasn't fought since that Crawford fight. And that was not a good fight for him. And, not to mention, and everybody's saying he's watching everything. Listen, we don't know how much that car wreck that he had, he should be dead right now. I mean, only by the grace of God is he here. And hopefully, I don't want to see him fight again. I just don't. Because I like him as a person. He was such a nice guy. We met him a couple of times. He's such a really nice guy, man.
Really good person.
And, you got a lot going on. You made a lot of money, man. Go do something else, man. It's not worth it. Stephen Fulton versus Oshaki Foster, October 25th. That's a good fight. That's a fun fight, too.
That's an excellent fight.
Erickson Lubin versus Virgil Ortiz, another pretty good fight, November 8th. And Anthony Joshua still looking to come back. His fight with Jake Paul fell through. I think he's eyeing Tyson Fury now. That's what the rumor is. Yeah. But there's no guarantee Tyson Fury's coming back. So if he doesn't, where does that leave AJ? He's out the pasture now.
They were trying to get AJ a fight sometime in December, but now they're going to have to push it to the beginning of next year, Eddie Hearn was saying in an interview. So
go fight Dylan White again. Yeah, I mean, Dylan White said he's still going to fight. All right, well, hey, man, that's on you, man, and whoever sanctions you. What kills me is that British Boxing Board is so strict on some things and not on others.
Yeah, they're very inconsistent.
Very inconsistent how it feels to me, but maybe that's just me. And, of course, Deontay Wilder and Francis Ngannou have exchanged social media saying, hey, I want to fight you. Wilder says, no, I want to fight you. So we'll see how that goes. Again, that's a fun fight, and that's a pie bet just waiting to happen. I'm telling you, there's no way Ngannou's beating Wilder. I don't care how washed Wilder is. I don't care.
You're going to see a lot of people picking Ngannou in that fight. because Wilder's not very –
guys,
there's a lot of people that don't like Wilder.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you think he can beat Wilder, go watch that AJ fight, AJ Ngannou, over and over again. You're going to see what's going to happen. And you can say, well, look at the Tyson Fury fight. That's great. Look at Tyson Fury's next few fights. He never won a fight after that. He didn't. He didn't win another fight after that. Did not. And that was a horrible performance. I don't care if he was competitive or not. He never won a fight after that fight. So that just lets you know what you need to know. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at JHabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporter.com. And you can find me on X at ringside73. And guys, we will catch you next week. Thank you so much.